I've had a bunch of communication fails around me and near me and even from me lately about how we communicate with those around us. And it really revolves around leadership and what kind of leader are you? So let's get into it. I think it's really important so that you don't fail in your communications with your team, your colleagues, and those around you, for you to understand exactly what position you're really in. Oftentimes, people fail to understand whether or not they're in a leadership position and what kind of leadership position that really is. So think about it in three big buckets. One, you're not a leader. You're not in a leadership position, and you're either an equal or beneath them in like a hierarchy pecking type order. The second type of, well, the first type of leader, but the second bucket is this leader that's in a positional spot. Like they are in a position of leadership. It does not mean that those that report to them, though those are technically above in a hierarchy train, see them as a leader, other than the fact that they just have the title, they have the rank, they're in that position. And then the next bucket is what I think a lot of us strive to become, is this permissive leader. People give you permission to lead them because you develop trust, you've shown that you know the way, you can get them what their hopes and dreams are, you can satisfy and lead them, and they've given you permission to do that because they trust you and they feel like you're on the right track, if that makes sense. All too often when we're communicating in the business world or in nonprofits or organizations that run PTAs, student, parent, teacher organizations, whatever that is, we fail to recognize the position that we're in. In companies or businesses or the Army, like I was in for a lot of years, it's really clear. You are either in a leadership position because of your position, your title, your rank, or you're not. So let's think about it in three big buckets. First bucket is you're not in a leadership position. You are equals or even maybe in a lower pecking order than that person. So let's kind of hold that one right there. So that's the first kind of position you could be in. The second one is you are I love the term positional leadership. You're in a position of leadership. That means you're technically in charge, but it doesn't mean that they want necessarily to follow you. And then the third bucket is this permissive leadership. The people around you have given you permission to lead them. Maybe you are in a position of leadership, but maybe you're not in a position. And you see this a lot with charity groups, nonprofits, neighborhood associations, PTAs, whatever those organizations are. Even among colleagues, often you'll find somebody that has shown to develop a leadership acumen, a leadership trait, and people around them kind of want to follow them because they have trust in that individual and they believe that they'll take care of them and that they will lead them on the path to meet with the success that they want to realize. So really, let's think about it in three buckets. You're not in a leadership position. Sorry. You're in positional. This kind of reminds me of the old adage of Vietnam. You better be careful because it doesn't mean people want to follow you. It means they have to follow you, and they only follow you so far. So really what we strive to become is this permissive leader where people say, please lead me, and as long as you're taking care of me, I'll take care of you. And that's really like an awesome role to get to. But here's the communication fail. You don't realize what bucket you're in. And all too often I get these people that are not in a leadership position. They're not in a position of leadership. No one's given the permission to leader. And then instead of selling people, instead of developing buy-in with their idea and bringing people around them to convince them that the way that they want to do it's the right way they do it, they try to order people. Well, if you're not in a position of leadership and they haven't given you permission to lead, you can't order people to do jack. All right? They will just fold their arms, or they may just kind of go along because you're the loudest person in the room. It doesn't mean they're gonna get into it with a lot of energy and a lot of enthusiasm, right? They're just gonna do it maybe because you're forcing them to. And that's kind of the same also with the positional leadership. Now, the positional leader can maybe take away money, maybe can demote them, maybe make them work extra hours. They can punish them, like they can give them a carrot and stick kind of relationship, but it doesn't mean people are enthusiastically trying to follow them. So there's always a time when you're in a position of leadership that sometimes you just got to order people. You don't have time to debate and sell and negotiate. and try to resolve all their inner emotions and feelings that the people that you're ordering to do something may feel. Now, I would be real sparse with that, and that's where the first real fail comes in on all this is you order them just too much, and pretty soon their performance and their trust in you goes down and down and down and down. So you can do it when it's necessary. I think about the analogy of a young child running out into the road and you're their parent. Well, you're in a position of leadership for that kid, right? Because you're the parent. And you have to order them to stop running in front of the car. Oh my gosh, this happened to me just the other day with my daughter. My daughter is 15 and she's driving. And she was running a stop sign. I hope my wife doesn't watch this video. She ran a stop sign and I had to yell at her, stop the car. That was an order, and I'm in a position of leadership, and I can take away her car and I can get onto her. And we stopped and we parked and we broke it down because then I wanted to sell her and try to get permission to lead her on teaching her to drive. So that's where the permissive stuff begins to come in. Is I still want to develop buy-in on why I gave her the order not to run the stop sign, and we had to sit and park. And I said, look, I'm sorry, barked at you. There was a car, and I want you to get hit. You did your job by stopping literally in the intersection. And now I had to sell her on the concept of why it's important to listen to me about driving a car, because I've been doing it a long time and haven't had a lot of accidents. And so I still need to sell her on that. I still need to slow down after the order came in, because at some point I want to have permissive leadership. I don't think I have permissive leadership from her because she's a teenager and they want to push back on authority, and that's a really natural thing. So what I see people do is they're in a position of leadership and they never work to sell or to gain permissive leadership over the people that they're with. They just order them all the time and they think, I'm in a position of authority and you're going to listen to me. And that is a massive, massive communication fail. If you ever want to become a permissive leader, you've got to sell them. You've got to talk to them. You've got to explain yourself. And I know you're in a position of leadership and you may not want to do that, but you'll never get to become a permissive leader. And I think that's the fail. And if you're out there advocating for your rationale and selling your team, you're drifting into permissive leadership. And I think that's a great communication win. So think about that as you go forward, as you begin to lead more people in whatever position that is. Are you really in a leadership position? Are you working towards permissive leadership? Are you just a positional leadership? And I think it'll help you communicate a lot better with the people around you when you really understand the position they see that you're in. Hey, I hope this helps, and I hope I don't screw up what position I am in with you either. All right, thanks. Bye.